Meeting Shere Khan, first person narrative. So, what is a first person narrative? A first person narrative is a mode of storytelling in which a narrator relays events from their own point of view using the first person, i.e. using words such as I or we. This week, you will be writing the perspective of Mowgli. So you're going to be Mowgli and writing about what you are seeing. You'll be writing in past tense as the events have happened already to you. Now, we've shared a clip with you in your packs and I'm going to put it below this video. Now, it says in your packs is a link to a YouTube video which shows Mowgli meeting Shere Khan for the first time. Now, there's been some reference to Shere Khan in a story before. You know, he's a tiger, he's quite violent, he's quite vicious. You're going to meet him in this clip. Now, I really want you to watch this video carefully. When watching it, really think about your five senses: touch, sight, hearing, smell, and taste, and how you can describe the scene using your senses. What can you see? What can you hear? What smell is in the air? Can you taste anything? Taste can be quite a tricky sense sometimes because unless you're eating, it's not always clear. But maybe you can taste the sweat that's dripping down your brow in fear. And what are you touching? Maybe you're touching a rock that you're crouching behind. So I'd like you to watch the video for the first time just to enjoy it and see what's happening. And the second time, this is when I'd like you to note your five senses. The more you watch the video, and it's only about a minute video, so it's quite short, the more you watch it, the more you'll start to notice. Because you'll start to see the little details, and those little details will be great in your writing. So this is our first time meeting Shere Khan as Mowgli, and I want you to consider his character. Looking at the picture on this slide, you can see he's quite menacing, he looks quite threatening. Look at his appearance, his fur seems unkempt, he has what looks like a bit of a hunchback, he's covered in scars on his face. He's deadly. How are you going to describe him? What adjectives might you use? Think about how he moves. Is he prowling? What verbs can you use? Is he stalking? What does he look like? Obviously we know tigers, orange fur, black stripes, but is there a better way to describe Shere Khan? How does he speak? Does he purr like a kitten? Or does he growl? And where is he? Where is the scene set? This could be really helpful to describe as well in your writing. So here we have my model right. In your packs, you'll see the success criteria, which is also below, and you'll also see a plan, which contains 3 or 4 paragraphs I want you to write. This is just one paragraph. I'm going to read it through once, just so we can get a sense of the story, and then I'll read it through again and we'll unpick the different parts of our success criteria. As he confidently prowled around our encampment, I felt a sense of dread wash over me. The air grew colder, as if even the elements knew something deadly was afoot. Why had this menace come to us? Crouching beside a rock, out of harm's way, I studied the tiger known as Shere Khan. Everything about him looked terrifying. His claws were as sharp as knives. His fur was mangled and matted. But it was his face that I will never forget. Sinister scars were embedded all over, and his right eye was glazed. When he opened his mouth, you could see the razor-sharp teeth that were longing to rip into my flesh. He picked up my scent and immediately demanded I be handed to him. Enveloped in fear, I stood motionless below the pack. Seconds seemed like hours as this vicious villain stood before us. He was here for one reason: to keep the jungle law. Now below my model, you'll see I have written the success criteria: powerful adjectives, fronted adverbials, cohesive devices, prepositions, and figurative language. Obviously, this is a first-person narrative, so you will be expected to write in the first person, and, as I said before, in the past tense. As you are now in Year 5, and we know you've written plenty of first-person narratives, writing in first person and in past tense is no longer part of your success criteria because we expect you to do this naturally. So we've got 5 tricky things we're asking of you. But we have looked at them all before in school and we are confident that you can do them. When it comes to powerful adjectives, you can see I haven't got much red highlighted, and I'll explain that in a minute. So we'll just go through what we have got. We've got mangled and matted. So obviously mangled we've looked at before when we were looking at our Peter Pan story. It means kind of broken and destroyed. And matted, again, another way to describe his fur, to show that maybe it's a bit sticky and not very well kept. This is also a lovely form of alliteration because you've got the m sound. So mangled and matted is some great ways to describe Shere Khan. Calling his scars sinister, I know it's not highlighted in red because it was figurative language, is a nice way to describe the scars. Again, having that phrase razor sharp and powerful to describe the teeth, which again seems like an adjective. Again, it's another form of figurative language. So you can see there's a bit of a crossover between our powerful adjectives and our figurative language here, which again you can see the word vicious. Obviously, this is just one paragraph, and I'd want to see adjectives throughout your whole text. So obviously, I've not got that many in this paragraph. I might contain more in my next one. Fronted adverbials, as he confidently prowled around our encampment. And we've got crouching beside a rock. Tells you what is happening in the scene. And obviously, remember the punctuation you need after a fronted adverbial of our comma. Bonus points to any of you who are able to identify what type of fronted adverbial are they. Are they how adverbials, when adverbials, where adverbials? Maybe let your teacher know in teams. Now, cohesive devices in this case is where I've tried to use a different way to describe Shere Khan. So I haven't said Shere Khan's name constantly throughout. In fact, I only use it once. So even before I introduce his name, I call him a menace. So I'm thinking of a different way to describe him. Again, later on I called him a vicious villain. And even the tiger. So I've thought of 3 different ways to describe Shere Khan and say talk about the character I'm talking about without using his actual name. Less repetitive, makes the writing flow much nicer and just read well. Remember, prepositions are telling you where things are happening. So here it's around our encampment. Mowgli is crouching beside a rock. He has scars all over his right eye, and he stood motionless below the pack. When you use prepositions, it seems to add extra detail to your writing. Figurative language, so we're looking for alliteration, we're looking for similes or metaphors, and in this case, I've even put a little bit of personification in here. All of these we have looked at this year, and you have impressed me with the skills you have used in your writing. I felt a sense of dread wash over me. Remember, this is a great bit of personification because dread can't literally wash over you. So we're giving it some human-like traits. His claws were as sharp as knives. Lovely simile is there. We've got sinister scars, which is a bit of alliteration, same with vicious villain. The razor sharp teeth that were longing to rip into my flesh. We're making those razor sharp teeth have human-like qualities there, giving them a bit of personification. And enveloped in fear. Again, a lovely piece of figurative language used. I hope you found this model helpful. I'm looking forward to reading your first person narratives. Good luck, Year 5. And please remember to email your class teachers or contact us on Teams if you need any help.